You're listening to the Black River Bard.
Hello, and welcome to the Black River Bard. This is Chris Berger.
And I'm Sherry Berger.
And this week we're going to be talking to Ron Himes, who is directing Dontrell, Who Kissed the Sea, which runs from November 10th to the 21st at the Nebraska Repertory Theatre. Normally, we do talk with Ron about his background, some of the stuff he does, but that is not nearly enough time and enough justice done to the stuff that this man has done. So we're going to give a little quick bio, and
it's very quick. There's more online for sure.
We are merely just scratching the surface of this man's accomplishments. So let's just start with this. Ron Himes is the founder and producing director of the St. Louis Black Repertory Company, which has developed a national reputation for staging influential, quality productions from an African American perspective.
He has produced and directed more than 100 plays at the Black Rep, including August Wilson's The Piano Lesson and the Black Rep's own I Remember Harlem Too.
His acting credits include starring roles in Joe Turner's Come and Gone, Robert Johnson, Trick the Devil, Sty of the Blind Pig, The Meeting, When the Chickens Come Home to Roost, Bozeman and Lena, and I'm Not Rappaport.
Just a few of his directing credits from theaters across the country, so the Rep isn't the only theater that he has partnered with. Ain't Misbehavin' in Fences from the Clarence Brown Theater in Knoxville, Tennessee. The Colored Museum and Blues for An Alabama Sky from the Indiana Repertory Theater. Flying West with the Delaware Theater Company. For Colored Girls, People's Light and Theater Company in Philadelphia. Riffs at 7 Stages in Atlanta, Spunk Spell No. 7, and Radio Golf from Studio Theater in Washington, D.C., One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I'm Not a Rappaport from the Old Creamery Theater in Garrison, Iowa, An Enemy of the People from Perseverance Theater in Juneau, Alaska.
Now, in 2003, Himes was appointed the first Henry E. Hampton Jr. Artist in Residence at Washington University, a joint appointment of the Performing Arts and African American Studies departments. He has received numerous honors and awards, including the St. Louis 2004 Heroes Pierre Leclerc Award in 2004, the Arts and Education Council's Lifetime Achievement Award in 2001, the Better Family Life's Creative Artist Award in 1997, the St. Louis Black Repertory Company's Woody Award for Best Direction from 1994 to 1997, an honorary doctorate of fine arts from the University of Missouri St. Louis in 1993, and from Washington University in 1997, and the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Life and Legacy Award from the National Pan-Hellenic Alumni Council. In 1993, the Ron Himes Scholarship Fund was established at Webster University in St. Louis.
How much fun has it got to be to either be a student or one of the equity actors that is working with Ron and his team?
It's got to be absolutely fantastic, and they are currently working on Dontrell, Who Kissed the Sea, and that is coming up very soon. Listen to our What's Happening podcast to find out when it's coming, but I'll tell you right now, it's coming November 10th to the 21st at Nebraska Repertory Theatre, and here's Ron Himes. And we are here with Ron Himes, who is the founder and producing director of the St. Louis Black Repertory Company. Thank you, sir, very much for meeting with us today.
Well, thank you for having me here. It's
welcome,
a pleasure.
Welcome. So we were just commenting you were the founder of the St. Louis Black Repertory Theater.
Yes. I founded it as an undergrad at Washington University in St. Louis.
Wow. How exciting for you to see it to come this far today.
45, you said 45 years?
We're in the midst of our 45th season, yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Did you ever think it would become that?
Yeah, it's something that you guys started 45 years ago.
No, I tell people, it was just sort of one day after another, and then, it was a month, and then it was 6 months, and then it was 12 months, and then it was 5 years. Wow. And here we are celebrating a 5th anniversary, then a 10th anniversary, and we're happy that we were able to come out of, the COVID shutdown.
Yes.
Right.
And we opened our 45th season with a production of Lynn Nottage's play Sweat.
Oh,
Wow.
cool. Excellent.
Oh, how neat.
Yeah,
I wish
yeah.
I could go to St. Louis.
Yeah, no, not everybody came out of the pandemic, and thankfully you guys made it through.
Yeah.
That is nice to see.
And all through the pandemic, we did work with the Nebraska Rep here. We did a lot of virtual work, and we streamed a lot of our work here to Nebraska audiences. And, we could tell now from sort of our mailing list and even our donor base that, people in Nebraska were very receptive and have been supportive.
Yeah, and we were just talking, man, there is a lot of theater up here, more than I ever expected. I moved here from somewhere else, and folks up here are super supportive of the arts and theater, and so it's no surprise that that's exactly what you found.
Yeah, we have two Missourians on the podcast today.
Yes, we do. That's right. But now, normally I like to ask when we meet somebody new, how did you come to the theater? Well, we know you're the founder 45 years ago, but you were already, I'm assuming, thinking about theater before you ever got near college. When did you start to think about and get involved
Actually,
with
I
theater?
never thought about theater until college.
No way!
I never acted or never had any real interest in doing theater until I was a second semester junior in college.
Wow.
And, of course, a couple of girls dared me to audition for a play. And I did, and got cast in a play called No Place to Be Somebody.
Okay.
And was pretty good in it, had fun, and said, okay, I told you I could do it. And I think the next thing I did was one of their senior thesis directing projects. Okay. And then when I graduated, in the meantime, we started this student group on campus. Okay. Because they and some other friends of mine who were theater majors, African-American students who were theater majors were not being cast by the theater department. And the theater department wasn't doing any work by black writers. And so they just couldn't figure out what to do with those students. Mm-hmm. So I guess it was easier for me not being a major and not having to worry about any repercussions. I said, look, if they're not going to cast you in plays, let's just start our own company. Right. So we started a student company on campus, and that student company evolved to become the Black Rep.
Wow.
Okay.
I got to know, though, what was your degree before this?
Business administration.
Really? You're going to go into business?
Right. Well, I thought I was going to be an accountant, and upon graduating, I realized that theater seemed like it was going to be more fun than counting other people's money.
Right, exactly.
Started as accountant, ended up in the theater. That is fantastic.
So you do have an introvert side, because that would be more me. I'm also a business major.
Excuse me. Yes. Yeah, that was it. And, it was very helpful in the early days. I was able to, do our budgeting, do our books,
really
write
helpful.
grants, and do all of that work until we got to a point where we were able to have some staff.
And I really feel like theater is kind of a cause. It's kind of a type of activism as well as art.
Oh, definitely was for us, because,
sure.
it was, an act of activism to say, look, if you're not going to give us opportunities, we're going to create opportunities.
You're going to make your own.
And the thing I said is that, as students who paid tuition, it meant that we should have access to the facilities on campus.
Absolutely.
And so we started the group, and we started putting in applications to use different spaces around campus. And we performed as regularly as we could in as many spaces on campus as we could, and built a reputation there. And then we began to perform on other campuses, and then into community centers and places in the community. But, within a couple of years, the core of us students had either graduated or moved on, and that was sort of me with this company that we had started. Yeah. And I decided that I would try to keep it going.
Right. That is so neat.
So now, is it still affiliated with that university or
yes.
Okay.
Right. So when we founded the student group was called the Phoenix Theater Troupe.
Okay.
And but when I got ready to try to incorporate the company, somebody already had a name, Phoenix something.
Oh, okay.
So then I incorporated as the St. Louis Black Repertory Company.
Okay.
And I tell people company because I was a business major.
Yeah.
So I didn't name it
Sure.
the Black Repertory Theatre.
Right.
I wanted to start a company, and the company I started happened to do theater. Right. But yeah, so we started the company at the student group at Washington University, where I was an undergrad. Then we, for 10 years, were at a location in North City, which was called the Miracle on 23rd Street, our theater there. Okay. Then we moved into the Arts District, and we were in residence in the Arts District for 20 years. And then we had to leave that space, and we went back to the university.
Oh, man.
So we've been in residence at the university for the past 7 years now. Okay. Our offices, all of our rehearsal spaces, our shops are in university buildings. Okay. And we are, have come full circle.
Wow. And so you've had this partnership with the Nebraska Rep for several years as well.
Right. This is ending the second year. I was here, I think it was 2018, 2019, I directed Dutchman. Here. Okay. And then after that, of course, the shutdown happened. And then all through the shutdown, we worked together, as I mentioned, doing projects virtually. And we developed this project called #RealChange, where Nebraska Rep is, looking at itself and, trying to address issues of equity, diversity, and inclusion. And I've been, a willing partner and fortunate to be in a position to work with them, trying to address some of these issues. And, a couple of the culminating things that have come out of our collaboration is me being here now, directing Dontrell, Who Kissed the Sea. Yes. And then I'll be back in the spring to do a devised project with the students called Traveling Shoes.
Oh, good. Yep. That's right. Oh, and the Devised Theater in the spring.
Yes.
Neat.
Yes.
That is so neat. I love the Devised Theater that the Rep does.
Yes.
Always been
neat.
Dontrell,
Who Kissed the Sea. Been reading just some reviews on it and some initial stuff on it.
Fairly new play.
Yeah, 2014 or something.
Right.
So modern play. And I'm trying not to spoil it. She actually gets to go see it.
Yeah.
I know for sure. I was gonna go see it. I can't get out of rehearsal. So, but she's gonna get to go see it, so I'm very jealous. But I didn't want to read too much and spoil it. This sounds like an absolutely amazing play.
It sounds fantasy-like.
It sounds like a fairy tale, but it's very much dealing with reality and about a young man's sort of coming of age and looking back into his past and trying to find a way forward. It sounds absolutely fascinating. I was trying not to spoil it for her while we were reading about it because she's going to go see it.
Yeah, but it's all of that. It is. And, I've got an incredible team of artists who are working on the project. Peter and Marjorie Spack are doing projections. Asia.
Okay.
I'm gonna get in trouble now. But hey, I don't remember all my last names here right now.
I'm bad. Terrible.
Asia, the lighting designer, is actually an UNL alum.
Oh, okay.
So it's great to have her be able to come back and work on a show on the Rep stage. Daryl Harris is a guy who has worked with me probably 30 years in St. Louis as the costume designer. Okay. An MFA student, Emma Hofbrauer, is the scenic designer, and Jackie Sharp is the sound designer, and my wife, Heather Beal, is the choreographer.
Oh, how neat.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, it's music, it's movement, it's dance, it's lots of eye candy visually, and as you said, it's a wonderful, wonderful story.
There seems to be a lot of themes in the. I'm trying to talk about it without spoiling it because it sounds really cool, and I don't want to ruin this for anybody. But
well, I'll do it quick. Yes. So so Dontrell,
yes, it's about
Dontrell is a very bright young student. He is getting ready to graduate from. He just graduated from high school. He has a full ride to Johns Hopkins University.
Yes.
But he's been having these dreams, these recurring dreams, and the dream is of him seeing someone who he believes is an ancestor, because in his dream is someone who looks exactly like his father. And in his dream, this ancestor on a slave ship making the transatlantic journey, at some point decides to jump off the ship, jump overboard to his death in the ocean. Dontrell is now determined to go find his ancestor at the bottom of the ocean.
Sure, which is
and so
the fairy
there
tale
right, and
aspect
so the
comes
journey
in.
begins.
Yes. See, I'm so mad I can't go see this.
But he can't be dead because
Well, no, but that's the fairy tale aspect.
Yeah.
So as he goes to sea, he sails to sea. He's going back maybe into his past or something. It's all very symbolic, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the kind of thing I love.
it sounds like fun and to be.
It sounds
I mean, it
wonderful.
sounds like it's got a good message to it.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
and, there's a love story in it. He meets a young lady who actually saves his life as he's trying to teach himself to swim, because that's part of the quest, is that he's got to go, and he's determined that he's going to go and he's going to find the spot where he thinks his ancestor jumped overboard, and he's going to go and dive there, and go underwater and try to find
go find him.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are stories that there are bones at the bottom of the ocean from the west coast of Africa all the way to the Americas, of people who, Africans who did just that, who refused to make the journey and jumped overboard. And so for Dontrell, it's very logical and it's very feasible, and he is a very determined young man. And so he makes the preparations. As I said, he meets this young lady who saves his life as he's trying to teach himself to swim. They immediately realize that they are soulmates, and she begins to assist him in getting the things that he needs to make the journey. So it's a play about, it's a love story, it's a fantasy, it's a history piece, and it's about family.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and speaking of family, you got to be here with your wife working together.
Yeah.
That just worked out perfectly.
It did, except for our two kids who are back home without me.
Having a party at home.
who are with Granny and
There we go.
are doing well. But thank goodness for FaceTime and
Yeah.
Yes.
the
internet does help sometimes.
So you and your wife normally work together then?
We've been working together more and more. She's a choreographer, a dancer, and a choreographer, and so of course I've directed her before, and of late we've worked together as director and choreographer on a number of projects lately.
That's neat.
That's cool.
So you kind of have to interrupt your season for St. Louis, or do you have somebody else at the helm while you're here?
Well, no, actually our company is just going on. There's a show in rehearsal now. It's one of the shows that we send into the schools. It's a play called Singing, Stamping, and Shouting Home, which is sort of similar to this. It's about a young woman, a young girl coming of age during the Civil Rights Movement, who finds out that she's a great, great, great descendant of Sojourner Truth.
Wow. Okay.
So I have a guest director at home, and all of our staff is there supporting her, and that production is being mounted. But our next main stage production will actually be Dontrell. So part, again, of this collaboration with the Nebraska Rep is that I would come here and direct this production here at the Rep, and then we will move it back to St. Louis, and it'll be our January show.
Oh, wow.
So you could always just come to St. Louis
There
to see
you go.
I might have to.
Yeah.
I might have to. Are
It's
you
just the
going
other side of
to
the
take the
stage.
same actors and do it there? Are you going to recast there?
Well, there are 3 professional actors in this production here.
Okay.
And then 4 students. It's a cast of 7.
Okay.
So we will take the 3 professional actors with us.
Okay.
And then we'll replace the students in St. Louis.
Cool.
Oh, that's great. And so the students here get to work with the professional actor
Right.
as well. And I know
Yes.
we've always talked about
And-
how we really like that here because we feel like it really helps them.
Oh, yeah, and I've got,
So-
4 very, very talented students who are doing a great, great job. As a matter of fact, I looked at my lighting designer, and I said, a couple of these I could just, if they'd let them go next semester, I could take them with
I
me.
see.
Yeah.
You guys go to
But,
St. Louis.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job, but, we will recast those 4 roles in St. Louis.
Yeah. Well, and so valuable because then, the students get to work with folks like you. I mean, who set up his own theater company and runs his own theater company, and he gets to come in and with all of your experience and direct these young folks. I think this is just such a wonderful arrangement that they have here, that they bring professionals and people with such experience like yourself in, and everybody gets to work together.
Right,
it's so cool.
And I'm just curious, what messages. So I think this partnership is so good for probably both of you, probably getting good things out of both sides of it. How do you feel? Do you feel that that's part of the way to make the change that needs to be made in theater?
I think it's certainly
a really great avenue for it.
Yeah, I think it's certainly a step in the right direction.
For sure.
I think that, the first thing that's important is what the Nebraska Rep did, and that is to take an assessment of themselves, to look inwardly, to see, basically what they said to me was, we looked at ourselves and saw that we weren't who we wanted to be.
Yeah.
And so I said that, when they asked me would I be willing to work with them to address some issues, I said certainly. So we've in the past 2 years we formed a task force that is comprised of members of the Rep, members of the Johnny Carson School faculty, and student representation. Of course, we're led by Christina Kirks and Andy Park, who are the heads of the Rep and head of the theater department here. And so we've just worked diligently trying to address issues, trying to make sure that the Rep is looking at its programming, looking at the artists that they hire, looking at how they service the students, which of course is the most important part of the Johnny Carson School of Theater, is serving the students. And so I think that our collaboration has put some things in place, and we're continuing to evolve our relationship. And I think that as we do that, hopefully we all come out the better for it.
Right. And do you think there's a plethora of plays that you can derive, that are the type of plays that every theater should be doing?
Oh, certainly. I mean, I don't know that the Nebraska Rep has ever done any August Wilson, for instance. And, the most prolific American playwright of the 20th century, with a canon of 10 plays in his American Century cycle. Yeah. So there are all those plays. As I mentioned, I just directed Sweat by Lynn Nottage, the only woman to win 2 Pulitzer Prizes in drama, Sweat being one. Her other play, Ruined, won Pulitzer Prize, and she's got a host of plays out there. Those are 2 of, my favorite writers. There's certainly a body of work out there. Dominique Morisseau is, a hot playwright. And so there are plenty of playwrights out there and plenty of work. And then there are plenty of playwrights out there to develop relationships with in terms of commissioning and developing new work.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
Yes.
How neat. I wish every theater could do that. That would keep you pretty busy, though. So it's nice that the Rep can do that. And I know we've talked before. There are certain plays that, you don't want. When he does a play, it's our life for like 3 months out of the cycle. It's
sure
he's in his mindset. That's who he's doing. That's where his mind is. And so I know that some of the really dramatic plays could actually be kind of taxing if we're doing just a really serious play. Some actors might find that taxing to have to live for 3 months. So there's a balance, don't you think, or like a good balance of being able to tell the story that people need to hear, and then also finding stories like this one that has something that is kind of has a different side to it. Kind of has that fantasy side to it.
I think that one of our missions at home is to make sure that we're doing work that is relevant and speaks to the community.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a piece that does that. And I think that's the best kind of theater, that can address current issues in the community, that speaks to the community about things that are relevant and pertinent to them.
Yeah. Well, how lucky we are to have you as a partner for this. I think it's really great. I hope it continues.
Yes.
Well, it's been great, and I hope it continues as well.
Well, thank
Wonderful.
you very, very much for talking with us
Yes,
about
thank you.
Dontrell Who Kissed the Sea, and you're doing another one over here in the spring.
Traveling Shoes in the spring, but Dontrell will run from
Dontrell
November
is
12th through November 21st at the Howell Theatre in the Temple Building, the Nebraska Rep.
Wonderful. Thank you. Enjoy your time here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and supporting the arts in the Platte River area and beyond. Please subscribe to our podcast so you are sure to catch all of our future episodes, and join us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Music for this podcast was used with permission by Screaming Skull Productions. See you next time on the Platte River Bard.